11,700 years ago, the world belonged to giants. Bears that stood 13 feet tall and could outrun horses. Cats with dagger teeth long enough to pierce elephant hide. Mammoths covered in shaggy fur, wandering frozen tundra. Lizards 23 feet, long hunting through Australian forests. Apes 10 feet tall, roaming Asian mountains. These weren't mythical beasts from fantasy novels. They were real. They dominated every continent except Antarctica. Our ancestors lived alongside them, hunted them, feared them, and watched them vanish. The Pleistocene epoch was Earth's last age of megafauna, when creatures of impossible size ruled the planet. Then something happened. Within a geological heartbeat, most of them disappeared forever. Tonight, we resurrect the lost giants of the Ice Age and discover what killed them. The frozen world. 2.6 million years ago, Earth entered a period of dramatic climate transformation. Temperatures have been dropping steadily for 50 million years. But around this time, geological forces triggered an acceleration. The last great ice age was beginning. A land bridge formed between North and South America approximately 4.5 million years ago. The Isthmus of Panama connected two continents that had been separated for millions of years. This narrow strip of land changed global ocean circulation patterns forever. The Atlantic and Pacific Oceans could no longer exchange tropical water through the gap. Warm currents were forced northward instead of mixing in the tropics. This increased precipitation across the northern hemisphere. But the temperatures were cold enough that rain fell as snow. Snow accumulated year after year without fully melting during summers. Glaciers formed and began spreading south in the Arctic. Ice sheets up to 2 miles thick covered Canada, Scandinavia, and northern Asia. The white ice reflected sunlight back into space. This reflection accelerated the cooling trend in a self-reinforcing feedback loop. More ice meant more reflection. More reflection meant lower temperatures. Lower temperatures meant more ice. Earth was locked in a frozen grip that would last millions of years. But the Ice Age wasn't uniformly frozen. Temperatures fluctuated dramatically over millennia. Warm interglacial periods punctuated the cold. During these warmer spans, glaciers retreated and life flourished. Then temperatures would plunge again and ice would advance. Into this world of climatic extremes, evolved creatures adapted to survive harsh conditions. Large body size helped animals retain heat in freezing temperatures. Thick fur provided insulation against Arctic winds. These adaptations produced giants unlike anything alive today. The Pleistocene epoch became Earth's last age of megafauna. Massive mammals, reptiles, and birds dominated ecosystems across every continent. And walking among them were our ancestors, primitive humans just beginning their journey towards civilization. The predators. Imagine encountering a bear standing over 13 feet tall when rearing on its hind legs. Arctodus, the giant short-faced bear, was among the most fearsome predators of Pleistocene North America. It could run at speeds exceeding 30 miles per hour despite its massive size. Unlike modern bears with elongated snouts, Arctodus possessed a short, broad face. This gave it incredibly powerful jaw muscles concentrated in a small area. Those jaws could crush bones to access nutrient-rich marrow. Nothing was wasted when Arctodus made a kill. The bear's eyes faced forward with wide spacing, providing excellent depth perception. Its sense of smell was extraordinarily acute. Arctodus could detect carrion from miles away. Some scientists believe it was primarily a scavenger, using its size to steal kills from other predators. Two species of Arctodus prowled North America at different times. Arctodus pristinus went extinct about 300,000 years ago. Competition with other predators and climate change likely caused its demise. Arctodus seamoos survived much longer, disappearing only 12,000 years ago. While Arctodus dominated through size and strength, another predator relied on precision and power. Smilodon, the iconic saber-toothed cat, prowled the Americas throughout the Pleistocene. 3 distinct species evolved over millions of years. Smilodon gracilis was the earliest and smallest species. From it descended 2 larger forms, Smilodon fatalis in North America and Smilodon populator in South America. These cats possessed the most specialized killing apparatus of any feline predator. Their canine teeth extended up to 7 inches beyond the gums. These daggers could penetrate deep into prey with devastating effect, but using them required precise technique. The jaw could open over 110 degrees wide. Smilodon's forelimbs were exceptionally powerful compared to modern big cats. These muscular arms could grapple and restrain struggling prey. Once the victim was immobilized, Smilodon delivered its signature killing bite to the throat or belly. Fossil evidence reveals that Smilodon was a social animal. Injured individuals survived with debilitating wounds that would have prevented hunting. Other pack members must have shared food, allowing disabled cats to heal. This cooperation gave Smilodon a significant advantage. Australia hosted its own apex predator during this time. Megalania prisca was the largest terrestrial lizard ever to exist. This monitor lizard reached 23 feet long and weighed over 4,000 pounds. It was a walking nightmare. Megalania's teeth were sharp, recurved, and serrated like steak knives. Bony plates called osteoderms reinforced its skin like natural armor. It hunted mammals, reptiles, birds, and raided nests for eggs. Nothing in Australia could match its killing power. The Herbivore Giants. Not all Pleistocene megafauna were predators. Massive herbivores dominated landscapes across every continent. The woolly mammoth has become the iconic symbol of the Ice Age. These elephantine creatures roamed the northern tundra in vast herds. Male woolly mammoths stood up to 11.5 feet tall at the shoulder. They weighed as much as 8 tons. Despite their imposing size, they were perfectly adapted to Arctic conditions. Long guard hairs up to 3 feet long covered shorter, dense underfur. Their ears were much smaller than modern elephants' ears to minimize heat loss. Short tails served the same purpose. Curved tusks up to 13 feet long could sweep away snow to access vegetation beneath. They fed primarily on grasses and sedges. Woolly mammoths were highly social animals living in matriarchal herds. Females and juveniles traveled together while adult males remained solitary or formed bachelor groups. Early humans hunted mammoths extensively, using their bones and tusks for tools, weapons, and art. While mammoths dominated the northern plains, mastodons preferred forested environments. American mastodons were roughly similar in size to mammoths, but had different feeding strategies. They browsed on trees, shrubs, and aquatic plants in boggy areas. Mastodon teeth were adapted for crushing rather than grinding. This allowed them to process woody vegetation that mammoths couldn't eat efficiently. Mastodons could live over 50 years. Like mammoths, they formed social groups centered around adult females. South America hosted its own giant herbivore. Megatherium, the giant ground sloth, reached 12 feet tall when standing upright. It weighed up to 4 tons. Despite claws over a foot long, it was completely herbivorous. Those enormous claws served multiple purposes. Megatherium used them to pull down high branches beyond other herbivores' reach. The claws also provided effective defense against predators like Smilodon. Even saber-toothed cats thought twice before attacking an adult Megatherium. Australia's contribution to Pleistocene megafauna was Diprotodon, the largest marsupial ever to exist. This wombat relative stretched 10 feet long and weighed 3 tons. It fed on leaves, shrubs, and grasses across Australia's interior. Fossil evidence suggests Diprotodon undertook seasonal migrations in search of water. During dry periods, entire herds traveled hundreds of miles to reach reliable water sources. These migrations made them vulnerable to predators lying in ambush along travel routes. The strange and specialized. Beyond the familiar mammoths and saber-toothed cats, the Pleistocene hosted truly bizarre creatures. Gigantopithecus, a giant ape from southern China, may have stood 10 feet tall. It weighed between 440 and 660 pounds. This enormous primate was the largest ape ever to exist. Fossilized teeth indicate it fed primarily on fibrous plants like bamboo. Despite its impressive size, Gigantopithecus was likely a peaceful forest dweller. It went extinct roughly 300,000 years ago. Environmental changes probably caused its demise. As forests gave way to more open habitats, Gigantopithecus lost its food sources. Unable to adapt quickly enough, the giant ape disappeared. Today, only teeth and jaw bones preserve its memory. New Zealand developed perhaps the most unique Ice Age fauna. Completely isolated from other land masses, the islands had no native land mammals. Birds filled ecological niches that mammals occupied elsewhere. The moa exemplified this evolutionary path. 9 species of moa evolved across New Zealand's diverse habitats. The largest, Dinornis robustus and Dinornis novaezelandii, stood up to 12 feet tall. These flightless giants fed on vegetation in dense forests. Smaller bush moa species occupied different ecological niches. Without mammalian predators, moa evolved no defensive behaviors. They were completely fearless. This vulnerability proved fatal when humans arrived around 1300 AD. Within a few centuries, Polynesian settlers hunted every moa species to extinction. Europe hosted its own spectacular megafauna. Megaloceros, commonly called the Irish elk, carried the largest antlers of any deer species. These branching structures could span 11.5 feet from tip to tip. The antlers alone weighed up to 90 pounds. Growing and maintaining such massive antlers required enormous energy investment. Male megaloceros needed calcium-rich diets during antler growth each year. These spectacular displays helped establish dominance hierarchies and attract mates. But they came at a significant survival cost. Africa developed a specialized scavenger during the Pleistocene. Pachycurcuda, the giant short-faced hyena, stood over 3 feet tall at the shoulder. It weighed approximately 240 pounds. Unlike modern spotted hyenas, Pachycurcuda was predominantly a scavenger. Its massive jaws could crush bones that other carnivores left behind. Pachycurcuda followed predators like saber-toothed cats, waiting for them to make kills. Once the primary predators finished feeding, Pachycurcuda moved in. It efficiently consumed everything other scavengers couldn't process. The hunters. While Ice Age giants dominated ecosystems, a different kind of predator was evolving. Homo sapiens, anatomically modern humans, emerged during the Pleistocene. These bipedal apes possessed something more dangerous than size or teeth: intelligence. Early humans developed sophisticated hunting strategies. They used fire to drive game into ambush zones. They crafted spears with stone points capable of penetrating thick hide. They communicated and coordinated attacks with language. They remembered successful techniques and taught them to offspring. Evidence of human hunting appears across the Pleistocene fossil record. Mammoth bones show cut marks from stone tools. Mastodon skeletons lie surrounded by spear points. Giant ground sloth remains bear signs of butchering. Humans hunted megafauna wherever they encountered them. But humans brought more than hunting pressure. They competed with carnivores for prey species. They altered landscapes with control burns. They introduced diseases that jumped to new host species. Their arrival correlated suspiciously with megafaunal extinctions across multiple continents. In Australia, megafauna began disappearing 40 to 50,000 years ago. Humans arrived approximately 65,000 years ago. Megalania, Diprotodon, and numerous other large species vanished. The timing is difficult to dismiss as coincidence. North America experienced a catastrophic extinction pulse around 12,000 years ago. Mammoths, mastodons, giant ground sloths, saber-toothed cats, dire wolves, and dozens of other species disappeared. Humans had arrived in the Americas only a few thousand years earlier. The Pleistocene epoch ended 11,700 years ago. The transition to the Holocene was marked by warming temperatures. Glaciers retreated, sea levels rose, ecosystems transformed rapidly, and the megafauna vanished. Scientists debate the exact causes of Pleistocene extinctions. Climate change clearly played a significant role. As the world warmed, habitats changed faster than many species could adapt. Tundra gave way to forests. Grasslands became deserts. Food sources disappeared. But climate alone cannot explain the extinction patterns. Previous interglacial warming periods hadn't caused similar megafaunal collapses. Something was different this time. The most obvious difference was human presence across most continents. The overkill hypothesis suggests human hunting drove many extinctions. Early humans killed large animals faster than populations could reproduce. Species that had never encountered human hunters had no evolved defenses. They were easy prey. Alternative theories emphasized disease transmission. Humans brought pathogens from Africa that were novel to naive populations. Megafauna, lacking immunity, succumbed to introduced diseases. This could explain rapid, widespread extinctions. The most likely explanation combines multiple factors. Climate change stressed populations. Human hunting finished off struggling species. Habitat alteration removed crucial resources. Disease spread through weakened populations. These pressures combined to produce catastrophic results. Whatever the precise causes, the outcome was clear. Earth's last age of giants ended. The Pleistocene megafauna disappeared. Only scattered populations survived in isolated refuges. Africa retained its large mammals. They had co-evolved with humans and developed defensive behaviors. Today, Earth's remaining megafauna are shadows of Pleistocene glory. African elephants seem tiny compared to mammoths. No bears rival Arctodus's size. Saber-toothed cats exist only in fossils. We live in a diminished world, a planet of survivors rather than giants. The Pleistocene taught us a sobering lesson. Even creatures that dominated for millions of years can vanish in an evolutionary instant. We inherited this quieter, smaller Earth. The question is, what will we leave behind?